Today is a special birthday edition of WIP Wednesday. Hello, my name is Emily Crow from The Cozy Crow and welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to today's special vlog. It is my birthday, which is really exciting, and I'm not working today. Normally I work Wednesdays, so I don't necessarily take advantage of the WIP Wednesday idea, but since I'm home today and not at the hospital, I figured it would be a perfect day to do a WIP Wednesday video. Like I mentioned, this is a special video because it is my birthday. We're doing WIP Wednesday, no WIP November, whipping down, all of those ideas, and so I thought I would take you along with me as I go about my day and the things that I decide to work on. I've already thought about the projects I want to work on throughout the rest of 2025. And I have a lot of plans, lots of things I would love to cast on. There's a video here on YouTube of my 10 projects I would love to finish before the end of 2025. So I'm partially pulling my inspo from there, but I also have some other things I've already casted on, some things that are really bringing me joy, things I would love to cast on today as like a birthday cast on. So I've got a big list going right here of all the things I would love to work on today. So let's get started. My office is still definitely in flux. That's one of the things I would love to get done pretty soon, so sometime this week, but we'll see if I feel like doing any organizing today because I'm just gonna go with my mood, honestly. It's been a pretty good morning so far. Got a little bit earlier of a start today than I usually do on my days off, which is nice. So I feel like I have a lot of time today. I did stop at Swig and got some goodies. Got a mistletoe madness. I do love having like a flavored water drink, just something fun. And then I also got myself a hot chocolate because it's nice and gloomy today. My cat already knocked it over, which is very sad, but it's like a cookie cocoa type of flavor. I can't remember. It's very, very sweet and nice and still a little bit warm even after that whole fiasco. And I also got myself a peppermint chocolate crinkle cookie. So I've got all the treats lined up for this massive whip down activity. So some things on my list, though, like I said, I'm just gonna follow my mood. My mood might change. I might decide I want to work on something else, but first of all, I have a pair of test knit socks that I'm almost done on. I'm on the toe of the second sock. So I would love to finish off those socks. They are for my daughter. That test knit is not due for a couple weeks, but knocking that off the list would feel great. And then I could work on other things with those sock needles. That'll probably be the first thing I do to feel really accomplished. Speaking of socks, I would love to cast on the Piece of the Pie socks by Kimberly Fridsma, I think is her last name, Kimber of Kimber's Cozy Creations. I wanted to make this pattern for a while. I have the yarn set aside for it already, and this was on my list for 10 before the end. I would love to finish these socks before Thanksgiving, which is next week. I'll have sock needles when I finish my sock project. That would be a great project to cast on. I also have the Mountain Romper Suit by Natasha Gizimova. I'll make sure to have my information on the screen for you. That's the coming home outfit that I want to make for my baby boy, and he is due in 6 weeks. So I need to get a move on with the things I want to make for him. I have a long list of things I'd love to make, and I just gotta get a move on. I've already casted that on, and I think I'm about to start the raglan. I did like some cool neckline ribbing detail. So time for the raglan. I can definitely knock that out today. Another raglan I'd like to work on, though I don't have expectations to finish it, is for my Stella sweater, which is another test knit, but that's not due until towards the end of January. And I would love to finish this before I have the baby, so I don't have to stress about a deadline for a while. But we'll see, I guess. I've casted this on, I did my short rows, and I'm all like set up with my correct needle and my stitch markers and everything, so I can get started on the raglan. So that would be really nice to establish. I want to make family Christmas socks this year, and I've started the first pair, which is going to be mine, since my socks will use up the most yarn, since I'll have taller socks than what my husband likes or what my kids will get. I really need to work on that. It fell by the wayside as I was working on things that had more of a deadline, but if I wait until December to do all these socks, then I'll be really stressed. So I would love to make some progress on those DK Christmas socks for me. They're just vanilla socks. I also have a gnome I am knitting for November. I've been doing the Year of Gnomes knit along by Sarah Shira, and I am 10 for 10 so far, keeping up with this knit along throughout the entire year. So I'd love to finish off the year strong. For November, I'm doing Noel Gnome, who is Christmassy inspired. There's some color work. I've already picked out my colors. I cast it on the little gnome hat. You start with the hat and work up, and then you pick up stitches on the brim, work down for the body kind of thing. Pretty standard for Sarah Shearer's designs. And I really need to make some progress because I haven't done a lot. So I think it'd be really good to work on the hat for that gnome. Ideally, I would love to finish that hat and kind of move on from that step of the pattern. I've got a blanket I've been working on, and this is technically part of my bookish blanket make along that I'm hosting through the end of November. I would love to make some more progress on this because this blanket is bringing me so much joy. So this might move up on the to-do list just because I know it's been bringing me a lot of joy and I haven't had a lot of time to work on it. This is the Warm Welcome Baby Blanket by Jess Copham or Make and Do Crew. And I found the pattern for free on their blog and I just modified the stitch count. And this is a really good yarn eater. It's crochet, so it moves fast. I'm using a mix of Surrey and some Bear Stroll yarn from Knit Picks. And so that combination is just like so soft and squishy and it's working up yarn really fast. I know, I'm just really enjoying it and seeing the colors come alive. So I would love to work on that today. It's part of my self-care making instead of to-do making. Speaking of to-do making though, I have a book box that's been lingering for quite a while. I just kind of stalled out on the project because I was working on other things. It is a colorwork cowl. I already have the colorwork established. I have all my yarn prepped already. I have the colorwork charts all like organized and ready to go. I really just need to work on this project. And I'm hoping that as soon as I start, I will really enjoy it and want to work on it a lot over the next little bit because I'd love to finish that, get it off my plate, finish that video because it's mostly edited up until this current point in time where I need to work on the cowl itself. That would be really good to at least pick that up, and even if I only do a couple rounds, just to make a little progress and kind of jumpstart my joy in that project. And then finally, on my list of 10 before the end, I want to make the Severn Side Mitts and Severn Side Beanie by Annabelle Williams, if I remember the name correctly. And this was like a fun for me cast on I wanted for this winter season. So it would be really nice if I get a chance to cast it on. We'll see. I would probably start with the mitts just so I can make sure that both my mitts match. I don't have any issues with yarn. I should be totally fine on yardage, but just in case. Smart yarn management. So those are all the things that are kind of on my radar. Other than the test knit socks that I'm going to start. Those are the light as a feather socks. I don't know what's next. Let's do the socks first and then see what I am in the mood for. My WIP basket overfloweth. This is the original. This is my extra. I would love to have my WIPs all fit comfortably in this one basket, but that is a work in progress for sure. If you haven't seen in some of my recent videos, this is the Mom's Hug sweater by Anne-Katrine Stoll, and I am really loving it. I made it so that I could have something that was knit and maternity wear, you know, because it's got the flaps, so it has a lot of room to accommodate the belly. Hi, Alfred. I'm still annoyed at you for knocking over my hot cocoa. This is the offender. He thinks he did nothing wrong. And so this is really good as a maternity fit, also really handy for breastfeeding because it allows for lots of space for a baby to fit under there. And I'm hoping that just stylistically, I enjoy it even after that season of my life. So I'm really liking it now. I've worn it a few times already and it's perfect for this nice cozy day. I'll show you the sock that I finished already. Again, this is for my daughter. Alfred, you drooled all over my laptop. What the heck? So this is the light as a feather sock pattern. It is in testing and it's coming out very beginning of December, if I remember correctly. So this is for my daughter. Again, a little small for me, but look at that fun texture. This pattern is by Katie Harrod, and she has a whole line of light as a feather accessory patterns. So if you really like this texture, there's so many different patterns to choose from. I did the cuff down sock, the extra small size, which is perfect for my daughter. It's like the typical, 48-ish stitch count size if you are going in increments of 8 stitches per size. So if that kind of helps you, that's the small size in the pattern, is that extra small. And I did a heel flap and gusset, a little bit different, not a slip stitch heel flap, just a stockinette heel flap. And this yarn is by Treehouse Knits. The main color is called Moana, and my daughter loves Moana, so I really wanted to get her some yarn so I can make something for her. So that's the whole intention behind this. And then the heel color is called Wayfinder. And this periwinkle color is called Together Still, just a little different. Super, super cute. So yes, I've done the first sock. I am almost done on the second sock. So we're gonna finish this toe and then weave in our ends and block these socks. All right, it is about 10:30. I started working on my sock toe at 9:15, had to weave in all my ends. They're blocking now, so it did take like a smidge longer than I thought it would to get going, but I'm also not trying to get things done as fast as possible right now, so it's okay. I'm gonna start my next project. I think I want to work on a baby project because I feel like there's so many things I wanna make him, and I don't want this season of life for him where he's wearing all the cozy knits to pass us by before I get a chance to actually make and put these things to use. So I'm going to work on the romper suit. I'm pretty sure I have all my markers and everything. I'll double check my needle size, make sure that that is correct, but I'm pretty sure I switched it over to the size I need for the rest of the romper. And we'll pull up the pattern and I will watch a little bit more YouTube while I establish this raglan. Because this is the 0 to 3 month size, it's probably gonna be really quick. So I might even finish the raglan before I pivot to something else. What? Consider the knitting algorithm for the first and second rows. The remaining rows are knitted according to the charts from Annex 1. Now I'm remembering why I put this down in the first place. Because this pattern's not written in a traditionally tech edited way. Their charting isn't consistent with industry standards. Okay, I guess we'll see how this goes. I think that this will be fine once I get used to it. Where's this Annex 1? Okay, I've kind of got the hang of how this pattern is written and I'm working on the chart for the raglan. I did find out that I did my make one purl left stitches incorrectly, so there's some gapping. I wasn't gonna go back and fix it. I really don't want to frog this. I just kind of want to move on. I think I'm gonna try and drop down and fix those. So it's a little hard because of the texture of the pattern. It's not just knit stitches. So I'm trying to mark it on my chart, like where I need to go so that hopefully I can follow my stitches okay. And I'm gonna drop down. It's like 4 rows I need to fix. So fingers crossed that things go well, but for right now, look at that gapping. Hopefully it'll look better when I'm done. Okay, mission accomplished. It doesn't look great, but it looks better. There's a little gap right on that first row still, but it's definitely smaller, but that took like a year off my life. So I don't think I'm gonna do that again. I do have a spot over here where things are a little bit loose, but not quite as bad. I'm just gonna leave it. The stitch definition of this yarn is pretty low. It's a wool and alpaca mix. Let me see if I can find, oh, there goes my extra needles. This is from the Fiber Company. It's the And Make Aran yarn. And I love this color. It's called Aquaman. And it feels really soft and also really cozy. So that's what I was looking for. I don't know how much this stitch pattern is gonna stand out when it's all said and done, but we are committed and we're just gonna go for it. I do feel like I need a little bit of a mental break though, because that was a lot. So we're probably gonna pivot, maybe get a snack. I'm feeling pretty good about following the chart though, and now that I know what I did wrong on my make one purl right and lefts, I feel like we'll be pretty mindless. So maybe I'll just hammer out the raglan after I take a little break. All right, so I've had a little lunch. I've gotten back to this. I was really hoping to finish this whole raglan, but it's kind of a tight gauge, and so it's just going a lot slower than I would like. You can kind of see this texture showing up, kind of fun. Yeah, there's definitely a zigzag there you can see. But I'm about 2/3 of the way through this raglan, and I am ready to switch to something else because it is about 1:45 in the afternoon. I think what I'm gonna do is prep my yarn for the couple cast-ons I was interested in. So the piece of the pie socks and the Severn side mitts. So I think I'm gonna prep my yarn for that, see what needles I have, probably cast on the socks because that'll be easy to start out with. And I need to find the PDF of the Severn side mitts because I have it. I just don't know where I put it digitally on my computer. So maybe those are my next 2 goals. Well, I guess next 3 goals. Prep my yarn, cast on my socks, and then find my pattern for the mitts. And then we'll see what time it is. Getting later on in the afternoon, and you know, when my daughter comes home from school and when my husband's home from work, I won't have as much time to just sit and knit. So we'll see, I guess. I was kind of hoping that I would get outside for a walk, but it's kind of rainy and I just don't feel like it. I'm still recovering from working a few night shifts, and so I'm just letting myself have a little bit of a rot day and just following my whims. All right, so this is the first time I've wound yarn with my new office setup. Problem is, I don't have both sides of my desk available. I have this pushed up against a wall, so I only have one side I can use. So I'm thinking that I may be able to put my winder on the chair. If not, I will switch these. It should be able to work okay-ish. We'll see, I guess. But the yarn I'm gonna wind right now is this Woolberry Fiber Co. Pumpkin Pie sock set for my Piece of the Pie socks. I'm going to wind up my Woolfolk Tauve DK. It is so soft and squishy. It's a really dark plum. I don't know how well you can tell that. From my screen, like how I can see, it looks pretty accurate. So I should probably wind up more of this so I just have it ready to go to continue to work on that set. Winding party is all done. Time to cast on. I think I'm gonna start with my crust color. Yeah, I'm gonna make this my crust. So I'll do this for the toe, maybe even for the heel. And then of course we'll do a whipped cream cuff. But yes, this is a toe up sock pattern. I'm just gonna follow my toe up sock pattern up until I get to the actual foot of the sock. And then I will take a look at the pattern to do the cables and texture the right way. All right, so I finished the toe on that sock, so that is cast on, established. I have the pattern on my phone now, so I can get back to that later. And I didn't realize I have a work meeting coming up in just a couple of minutes. It's about 3:30, so I'm gonna pull out my blanket project that I'm really excited about. It's bringing me a lot of joy, and I'll just work on that while I attend this quick meeting. And then we'll see what else I get to, but probably I'm gonna try to film like an intro for another vlog, and then my husband and daughter will be home for the day. So we'll see what other knitting and crocheting I get to, but for now, I'm just gonna enjoy relaxing again and working on this crochet blanket, and maybe even finishing off this next color and joining in my 3rd color. So this is my blanket so far. I have 1 color done, probably maybe like halfway through on this blue. So we'll see how far I get. Almost there. I think I'm on row 13. So family's about to come home. So this might have to go away for a few minutes, but I am finishing this stripe tonight, and I'll show you what the next color stripe is. All right, finished off that blue skein of Surrey and started adding in this next variegated that's got some blue and green in it. Definitely more green, but has a little bit of blue. So kind of tying it all together, doing like a color block with a pseudo fade in there. So yeah, have that established. So I got quite a bit done today, maybe like that much, which is awesome. Feels really good. After presents and a nice dinner that my husband made, we watched Elf. I'm in my Christmas jammies from last year, and it was just nice to just sit and relax. Today was not like a super exciting or eventful day, but I was so happy that I just got to enjoy knitting and crocheting, getting a couple things off of my to-do list or to-make list, and just creating things that brought me joy. We're putting my daughter to bed now, and then I'll probably get a little bit more stitching done this evening in bed, but we'll see what else I work on. Probably next time you'll hear from me will be tomorrow as I kind of close out this video. So I figured, because this was like a whip down today, whip Wednesday, birthday cast on type of a vlog video, I figured that I would just close it out at the end of today. You'll probably see a little bit of b-roll of me working on whatever project I decide to do in bed. I think I'm gonna be good and pull out my cowl using Yarnacious's yarns for a book box and just put in a little bit of time, and then it won't feel so daunting to be working on that, because that project has been lingering for a very long time and I just have not picked it up. That's my plan, but you should see a little b-roll on that. I just wanted to close out this video. Thank you so much for joining me on this special day. I have had other birthdays where I have done a lot more, and I was totally satisfied with just resting and being at home and working on some of my favorite activities. And I was totally satisfied. And I think that, you know, the best kind of days are, you know, one or the other, where you have really exciting, new, fun, special things going on, and also just the small joys of doing the things that you already enjoy, but filling your day with those things. And that was the kind of birthday that I had this year. So I'm so happy that I got the chance to finish some projects, to get some things accomplished on other projects, and just to make some good progress with all the whips I have going on. Definitely did not whip down my whip pile, but that's okay because I have plenty of time to do that. I just have a lot of things that I want to work on right now, and so I followed my heart and worked on what was bringing me joy in the moment. I am filled with a lot of joy right now. It was a good day. Thank you so much for joining me as I shared the things I was working on. Let me know down below what whips you are working on right now. If you are trying to finish anything for a deadline for the end of the year or even sooner. If you like this type of content and want to see more from me, definitely make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification down below to be notified every time I post a new video. And if you want to see more like whip down type of vlogs, more Whip Wednesday type of vlogs, then let me know down below as well. And until next time, happy making. Bye!